that's already happening throughout the world in kind of a grassroots way. And it's called Farm My Yard. And it's about people coming together, someone who has property and someone who doesn't. They're considered the farmer, and joining up with the landowner and pretty much growing food on their property so that both people can benefit from the produce. So there's 4 of us. There's Gary, who owns that property. It's in Westport, so it's an urban property. And then there's Amy, James and myself. And so Gary, he does help out. It's mostly James, myself and Amy who are growing produce, and we've only just started. But I guess we're here to talk today because of the benefits we see in this model. I mean, a lot of people grow their own food in their own garden, but see, I live in an apartment, and so does James, so we can't necessarily grow much food. And Gary, the landowner, he doesn't really have the time to grow his own food, so it really is a win-win situation for both of us. And there's benefits such as local food resilience, organic produce.
Yeah, growing your own food. Sharing resources, yes, like how the value of seedsavers work, where everyone's coming together, they contribute all these different seeds, all these different varieties. Same thing with the property. So we're not spending a lot of money on putting this urban farm together. We're using, like, say, Gary getting a whole bunch of staff and getting a whole bunch of shade crops, and then me getting I have a lot of coconuts. I'm getting a lot of coconut husks, and then I use that for the borders of the beds. But all of us contribute one little piece, and it actually ends up being a lot. So the actual farm comes together, the urban farm comes together a lot quicker. There's less effort overall. It's also more fun collaborating, just like everyone's coming here together. 30 people, it's fantastic, So
it's a different way of going about growing food, utilising, I guess, other people in the community who also grow food. So we're using this, what we're doing as an example of perhaps what can be done when people come together. Yeah, I guess we want to join in with seedsavers because we're all into about growing local food that is from local seed. Because it's so important, as you all know, that's why you're here. So we want to make the most of the local seeds in the gardens that we have. And I guess maybe they'll promote seedsavers as well if there's an opportunity to through what we're doing. So, and that might be a portal for connecting people up who don't have land and those that do, and bringing them together as well.
Sparking conversations that haven't been had before, and actually creating these new possibilities. Use one of the flyers you either make your own up, or use a templated flyer from what they've got on Farm My Yard site. And drop it off in your local neighbourhood. Just that way, and then also coming to places like Seedsavers, the Permaculture Cairns group, or wherever else they live. Any networks that are growing fruit and veg. And on the website they do have that template flyer as well that you can use.
How does it organise with the produce? Are you sharing that between the growers and the landowner?
Yeah, the idea is that we share it out amongst all of us. So. But how we went about it is we approached Gary and suggested the idea to him. He thought it was fantastic, and then we all sat down and we all went through the property, and we all threw ideas up about how we thought things where they should grow and etc. And then James sat down and actually did a diagram and a sketch of what we see, like where all the plants of certain varieties
Very
should
artistic.
go. So it gave everyone a clear picture of exactly what we want to grow. And there's things that we're growing that we don't necessarily eat that the others do. So it's good to have different variety anyway. Things you don't necessarily eat yourself that the others do to share. So we all had a picture in our head of what it could look like. I mean, obviously it'll change, but it was just nice to be on the same page. I mean, this is all very grassroots, so it's all like starting out, you know, quite fresh and new for us. And where the idea too is that we're coming together to learn about growing food, because you know, none of us are experts, and so it's a really good opportunity for us that hopefully one day when we do have our own properties, as the farmers, that we can get in there and go straight for it as well. And it's just that there are more and more people who are renting and don't have access to land to grow things, and it's great that they grow things in pots, but there's obviously things that they can't grow in pots that would be great for them to grow on someone's property. They might not be able to grow food on their property, or they might not have the time, and they want fresh local food, and it's good to join them up with someone who's happy to grow the food for them. Thank you for letting us talk.
All right.
Thank you.
Tosh, and I'm a member of Seedsavers and a member of the Cairns Permaculture Club. And that's why I joined both of those, because it's been my aim to be as self-sufficient as possible on a normal suburban block. I've also been to several courses that Mr. Albert does up on the tableland. And I went to the demonstration by Claire Richards. You take your taro and you boil it. You cut it up as if it's a potato and you boil it just like a potato, about 20 minutes, right? And you check it, yes, it's getting soft. Okay. So that makes your basis, and that's your carbohydrate, like the flour or the potatoes or the rice that you're building on. Then it gives a paste. Peanuts, chopped ginger, garlic, coriander, water and peanut oil. And you mix and cook them all together. And then you put them into the mashed taro, and then you make them into little patties, roll them in polenta, and fry them. So I did. And they're sort of like a potato cake. They've served it on a bed of Brazilian spinach. And ever since I've been here, trying to grow the ordinary vegetables, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, no use at all. Always eaten up by insects and things before I could lay my hands on it. So I've gradually come to the thought I must grow the tropical things that are at home here. And so for about a year I've not been buying any lettuce at all. At lunchtime I go out and I pick things from my garden, and most of these plants I've been given from people or I've bought very cheaply at the permaculture shop. And they are Arabica. It's a pretty big plant in my garden. I've just taken off one of the small ones.
And is that like a spinach?
It's like a spinach.
Or
yes.
baker,
So
it's the
you
New
pick
Guinea
the young
spinach.
leaves if you want to use them in a salad. This one is from a thing called tree lettuce. I bought those at Mr. Alba's place.
They're
Because
awesome.
you need about 4 of them to to keep on picking leaves off. You knock one off pretty quickly. So that's tree lettuce. And there's sweet leaf. I can't remember where I got all of these things, but this is on a bush and it makes, I still haven't got fruit off it, but that'll be later, I suppose. Then there's this Brazilian spinach, that's this curly one, which you can get the seeds of and grow yourself. And there's this Egyptian spinach, which I'm sure most of you got growing as a weed in your garden. Once you've got it, away you go. And Okinawa spinach that Jenny gave out at the last permaculture meeting. And that's the native coriander. Now, just before, well, usually in the morning, after I've done the watering, I'll pick a few leaves from all these things, take them inside, shove them in a plastic bag, keep them cool till lunchtime. Then at lunchtime, just take a board, strip off all these leaves, chop, 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 chop. There's the leaves for your salad. Of course, you know, you want to add other things that you like. You might like cucumbers and tomatoes and so on. Well, you add them. But you do not have to buy lettuce anymore. You can grow your own lettuce, of course, and when that's in season, of course, you might prefer that. But these things are there all the time.
I think they've got more nutrients than lettuce as well. Like,
Well, quite likely.
good variety.
And because I've got a variety, there you go. So I thought I'd show you those two things, certainly. If I could have a board and a knife, I'll chop these all up, and if you would heat them up, I'm sure they taste better warm.
Morning. I just went into the garden
Yeah.
and then I did add the tiniest bit of bok choy, however. But other than that, it's sweet leaf, Okinawa spinach, the two sorts,
Yeah.
a little bit of Brazilian. There's
Yeah.
not many tree lettuce left, but you could add it to that one if you like.
Well, that'll make life
And
easier,
then
doesn't it?
Costa flowers are really
yeah.
nice to
They're
eat. if you
edible
want to.
flowers, yeah, great.
And then for dressings, I try to use everything that is grown on my garden. So this is what I call a Rosella jam dressing. They're odd things. Just Rosella jam, lime juice, oil, salt and pepper. And then the other thing I did was walk around my garden and find what I could make interesting drinks out of. So I've got lemongrass and, I mean, everyone knows these anyway probably, but they're nice cold or hot. There's a lemongrass and ginger tea. The lemon myrtle is a native tree, Backhausea Citriodora. It makes a really interesting concentrated liquid that you can use in cooking to flavour anything you want, anything you'd use other types of liquid
What
flavourings
sort
in.
of strengths do you how
To
much?
taste. To taste. There are leaves, the recipe there, some of them come from that book actually.
All right.
So with that. The other one which is really interesting is just a kaffir lime syrup. So you just make up a sugar syrup to taste. You tear the leaves. When you make these with leaves, you tear the leaves as much as you can to release the essential oils. And this could be used, I reckon, as rosewater replacement in any recipes. And it makes a really nice cordial. As I said, you put however much sugar you want in it, or sugar cane if you've got sugar cane. And that's just a plain lemongrass tea. And this one, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I've tried many times to use banana buds that hang off the bananas. Has anyone, you know, had the hearts? Well, the bud they call it. The
Banana
purple-
flower.
Not actually the flower, the bill. It's a bud or a bill.
Oh,
Inside it,
that pod thing.
inside it
that's-
has flowers. So there are different ways in it. You have to put it, as soon as you chop it, so you pull out the outer purple bracts and then the inner heart is what you use. So you have to put it in acidulated salted water to stop it oxidise. Use it straight like that, or you boil it and you can use it later. So if anyone's game to taste it, it's reasonable.
All of these things are an acquired taste, actually.
Well, if you put the correct amount, or not the correct, but if you put it in the acidulated salted water, it takes away the acid flavour. You can also eat the flowers, but I found those really a bit too chewy and acid tasting.
Flowery.
But, you know, they use them all the time overseas, Asian cooking. So that's how that we've got in the garden. So coconuts from coconut cream made up from the coconut, which most people probably do here too, and all the spinach leaves and eggs from the chooks.
Is that grated coconut?
It's coconut milk.
Food or recipes, I've just made a drink. Okay. Do you want to yeah.
No,
Will we try and email out the recipes? Is that what we'll do?
What's the sunset song? Down in the sing as we go along in the velvet song. I don't want to have a fall.
Beautiful.